Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So there's a lot to talk about. I took the last few days off because it was the weekend and you had like Canada Day, there was like July 4th, and just in general, it seems like everyone just took the weekend off to just relax and unwind. So I was like, you know what? The Walking Dead is about to get really nuts with Comic-Con coming up in like less than 3 weeks now. I think it's like 2.5 weeks away, right? It's July 5th. I think it's the 23rd. So yeah, like 18 days until that trailer comes out. I figured I'd take the weekend off just to kind of relax and unwind a little bit because it is about to get very nuts. And there's actually a few things that I want to talk about here. In the recent trailer that we got for The Walking Dead's final season, there was actually a hint there that practically confirms what the storyline is going to be. And I say practically confirms because, one, I thought it was going to be her anyways. I just figured out of all 4 characters that are there, it makes the most sense that it would be her. It really does just make the most sense. And the way I see it playing out is we're going to learn a little bit more about her backstory. In the first episode, we'll probably learn about her brother, learn about what happened to her and stuff, because the Commonwealth are going to ask a bunch of questions. And then at the end of the episode, we're going to see that he's still alive, or maybe in the second episode, that will be the reveal kind of thing. That's the way I see it playing out anyways. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we got this image right here that says, "Have you seen my sister Yumiko? Contact Tommy," which is basically what happens in the comic, but with Michonne. It's almost word for word. It says, "Have you seen my mom, Michonne? Contact," and I think the name was Elodie or Elodie. I think it's Elodie is how you pronounce it. But yeah, that ended up being Michonne's daughter. That's the comic origin of this story here for the Wall of the Lost storyline. So before we go any further, obviously, if you are new here, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. And episode 5 of the podcast will be dropping later on today, so stay tuned for that. That definitely will be coming out later on today. I'm really excited because we talk about season 5 on there. All I have to do is just kind of edit it, put the song in the beginning and stuff like that, and then upload it and all that. So it should be out later on today. I'm really excited. Like I said, we talked about season 5. Now we're going on to season 6, which will be coming out this Sunday. And honestly, there's so much about The Walking Dead season 5 and 6 that I forgot. Well, I didn't forget. I just forget how amazing it was. And the whole Jesse storyline, the whole build to what happened with her and Rick. I mean, it was amazing. It was such a fun storyline. The whole Pete storyline as well. Like, yeah. Anyways, we talk about that and more in our podcast coming out later on today. Before we get into the Yumiko news, I actually just want to get into some other news here, and this has to do with Virgil, the actor, being cast in another TV series. Now, I believe the actor's name is Kevin Carroll. I could be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure. I could just Google it, but I'm just going based off memory and my notes right here. But yeah, the Virgil actor was cast in another television series recently. And so I'm, obviously the Walking Dead final season it's the final season. So he's not going to be in the Walking Dead universe past the final season. But the show is still filming until March of next year, I believe is what. I can't remember who said that, Gimple or Angela Kang. Someone said that they were going to be filming until March of next year. So if they're still filming for that much longer for the final season, and if the Virgil actor is joining another television show right now, I mean, that kind of confirms his death, doesn't it? Right? Like, he just came into the story here with Connie. They're filming like episode 9 right now, I believe. It's around there, episode 9, 9, 10, around there. So I think it makes sense that Virgil could be a mid-season finale death, not mid-season, but an episode 8 death, like a Walking Dead final season part 1 death. Maybe we learn, not we, but maybe Daryl learned some stuff from Virgil about Michonne before he dies. But my question for you guys basically is, do you think this casting news confirms that he is likely going to die on the show? Because I think so, and the reason why I think so is because he's not that important of a character. And if he's finding other work, it's because he knows that his job is about to be finished, right? Like, he's not going to go, like, if he had this big storyline in the final season, or was going to be needed in the final season, he wouldn't be doing this, because he would just be focusing on this right now and then getting another job to line up, I guess, after the show was over. I'm guessing he knew his part was ending, and so he found another job to do after that show ended. And I really think that Virgil is likely going to die in the first part because, like I said, he's not really that important of a character. He was introduced really to just send Michonne off, right? To send her off to go look for Rick. And I guess you kind of need to do something more with him, and they kind of are, but I think you can kill him off. It's kind of equivalent to Gamma, right? Like, you got Gamma on the show. She was a show original character, just like Virgil is. And she was really cool, but they just killed her off because you kind of can do that. Like, you make someone who is very likable, very recognizable, a great actor or actress, and then you kill them off, and it makes for an awesome death scene. And Gamma's death scene in season 10 was very sad and really awesome. So I think Virgil is most likely going to get that. I think that, yeah, in the first part of The Walking Dead's final season, he'll probably die in some way. I don't really know. Obviously, that's way too hard to predict right now, but I do think his time is short-lived on the show, and my prediction now, based off of this casting news, is that he's likely going to be a death in the first part. But obviously, I would like to know what you guys think. So post all your thoughts down below. But let's talk about the other thing here, which is the "Have you seen my sister Miko? Contact Tommy." The reason why I wanted to talk about this is, first of all, a few of you guys messaged me and were sending me this and stuff. And yeah, I did actually see this. I did want to talk about it, but I was just waiting until Monday. I do think this is confirmation right here. I really think that this is confirmation. And like, it could just be me, but like what I've noticed immediately is that the note is orange, and it's like a darker orange. And if you actually look at all the several shots that we see of the Wall of the Lost, this note stands out the most. And it's almost meant to stand out in that way. If you look at everything else, it's all like photographs and stuff like that. This is just a note. It's an orange note that says, "Have you seen my sister Miko? Contact Tommy." And I think that just makes the most sense. I mean, if you're calling your sister Miko, it's likely because, I mean, that's a nickname, and you were that close, your brother and sister. So obviously your sister Yumiko to you would just be Miko, right? Now, I personally don't remember Yumiko mentioning that she had a brother at all. I remember her mentioning that she had a cousin, and there was something to do with some type of trial, or I don't know if there was some kind of backstory there. And I remember, because I'm pretty sure she was a lawyer, right? I remember learning about something related to that. And so that's why I'm thinking that, like, there's going to be some information dump, I think, in the first episode where the Commonwealth questioned Yumiko. We learned that she had a brother, and etc. And I think that's why that note there is going to be shocking to her, because she's going to see it and she's going to be like, wait, that's my brother. That makes, like, no one calls me Miko. And the fact that it says contact Tommy, and if her brother's Tommy, like, it's just, it kind of right there, that makes the most sense. And also, like, you got to remember too, where it depends on where they split up. It makes sense that he wouldn't have a picture of Yumiko, right? So maybe he just wrote a note there. And like I said, the note's orange. It's almost meant to stand out. When you're looking at this, your eyes just kind of get drawn to it. I think that's why everyone noticed it right away. Like, I think it makes the most sense. I think it's something that we're going to see. Like when you see this in the teasers, you're not going to notice it. It's crazy people like me that like overanalyze this stuff and look into everything, and then you see a little note here. So I think that it makes the most sense. Now, I know there's going to be some people who are disappointed in the storyline, because in the comic, it was Michonne, right? And it was her daughter. It was this big deal because we already knew for years that Michonne lost both of her daughters, but no, she only lost one, and one was still alive. So it was shocking. This is something that, like, you know, if it would have been like Ezekiel or Eugene, I think it would have been better, just because we've been with those characters for a very long time. But that information isn't there with them, right? If Ezekiel mentioned that he had a son or daughter in like season 7, and then right here we saw something with it, I think that would be, yeah, absolutely shocking. That would be just as big as the Michonne moment. Like, it would be so unbelievable. But because we don't have that information on Ezekiel or Eugene, to introduce that idea in episode 1 it's kind of like, that's really convenient, isn't it? You know, and all of us will know right away. Like, I think it makes the most sense that Yumiko would take this storyline. And to be honest, like, the only other option was for it to be a Rick reveal, that Rick was alive, right? Like, that was really the only other option, and I think it's all right, honestly. Like, it's not as big of a storyline, but you still gotta do the storyline. There, like, we knew there was gonna be a version of it here. Like I said, it's not really as big as the Michonne storyline, but I think it'll still work. It's still fine. I mean, in the comic, it was a shocking moment. But if you actually think about what Elodie or Elodie, or however you say her name, if you think about what she brought to the story, it wasn't really a lot. Like, the only purpose she really served was to keep Michonne at the Commonwealth, because Michonne, after she found her, just wanted to stay there. She did not want to go back to Alexandria. She wanted to actually build a life here in the Commonwealth with her daughter. And so Yumiko, I could see her doing the same thing. And then Magna not wanting to do that, right? Magna being like, well, because they're already kind of like having a rocky or they have a rocky relationship. So I could definitely see them splitting up. I think Magna is still going to die. I think she's going to be the rebel. I think she's going to have a bunch of issues with the Commonwealth here. I think that I really foresee the scene where we see Yumiko, or maybe it's Maggie there, but there'll be Daryl and Magna. Magna is going to be this big rebel trying to fight against the Commonwealth. I think she's going to be feeling a lot of things, jealous because Yumiko wants to stay here and Magna doesn't because of, I guess, certain things that Magna's going to be dealing with, you know, but from the Commonwealth, because maybe she didn't really have that great of a job before and etc. There's a whole, you know, I don't know if there's a whole backstory there for Magna already, but it's possible that Magna deals with that, right? All of that discrimination in that sense, where she's literally just forced to, I don't know, like maybe she's not allowed into the Commonwealth. Maybe it's literally as simple as that. They don't allow her there. And so her and Yumiko can't be together. Yumiko doesn't give a shit because she found her brother here and she's kind of wants to stay. And Magna is going through a bunch of shit, kind of freaks out. And then we get that Dwight scene where Daryl is forced to kill Magna because it was shocking in the comic. Rick killed Dwight. I couldn't believe it. It was so shocking, but he had to because Dwight was about to kill Pamela Milton, and that would have been really bad for all of them. So Rick was forced to do it. And so if Magna has a gun up to Pamela Milton and is about to kill her, then Daryl has no other choice but to kill Magna. It would be sad and shocking, but that creates a lot of conflict, a lot of drama. I don't know how Yumiko's going to feel about it, but that's literally the point of the Commonwealth arc. It rips all of our people apart. Because of, you know, our group really works together very well because of the apocalypse. But if the apocalypse is over, kind of, and I say over because obviously it's not really over, but if you're returning to a sense of normal where you can have normal jobs and all that, will all of you really stick together? Or is this just kind of a means to survive, right? So I think it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited for the Commonwealth arc. I can't wait to get into all of this. And I do think that this all lines up here. I think Yumiko is going to see it. And I think my prediction on that is right. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.